Gather round, my children. Kurt is here bringing you another super awesome Magic the Gathering commentary produced by Green Carpet Media. I'm very excited to cast this game because today we have a very special guest commentator, and he's someone very near and dear to my heart.
Aw, thanks Kurt, I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Tell the viewers about yourself.
Well, my name is Shane. I'm going to be co-casting and providing a unique perspective on the game with Kurt. And I know change is hard, but hopefully one day you'll be able to come to accept me as your own.
Not likely, Shane. Before we get the ball rolling, I would like to mention that this game is a subscriber request from MrGreen Yeti. You can view his channel by clicking his avatar in the top left corner of the screen. He has some awesome Let's Plays, and if you enjoy The Binding of Isaac, you are in for a treat. With that being said, let's briefly touch on the players and their decks, shall we?
Let's do that thing.
On the left side of the battlefield, we have the sensitive and gentle-spirited Spoons, playing the black-white deck Soul Domination. This deck utilizes the keyword ability Exalted, which can turn a lone attacking creature into a Shaquille O'Neal.
And on the right side of the board, we have the old weathered veteran Garrus. This old crodger is going to be playing the blue and white deck Path of Victory, which tries to get as many creatures onto the field as possible. You can think of this deck as a group of friends who really enjoy each other's company.
Spot on explanation, if I do say so myself.
Thank you, but I do have to note, Kurt, that both these players' hands are looking simply scrumptious.
I completely agree. Looking at Garrus' hand specifically, he has drawn a great composition of lands, creatures, and spells. He has a super effective ground-based offense and defense. While on the other side of the table, we can see that Spoons' hand is looking strong as well. So it looks like Spoons has laid down an Evolving Wilds and will pass his turn over to Garrus, who has drawn an Arctic Aven. Garrus will play a Plains and pass his turn over to Spoons. However, it looks like his turn isn't quite over yet. On Garrus' end step, Spoons will tap and sacrifice his Evolving Wilds to fetch a swamp. It might be obvious for most viewers, but the reason Spoons is sacrificing his Evolving Wilds now is so the land he pulls from his library will be usable on his next main phase.
How'd you know he's gonna fetch a swamp?
I knew because there's a few creatures in Soul Domination that require 2 black mana to play. Spoons currently has 1 plain and 1 swamp. He needs to solidify that second swamp so he has the potential to play all his creatures and spells. I definitely could have been wrong. He could have pulled a plains.
I wonder if our viewers have ever noticed Spoons tenderly caressing the hands of his opponents.
I don't think anyone has commented on him before. I'm sure he's just trying to get in his opponent's head. Or maybe he just likes the touch of supple male skin.
Yeah, I hear he's a real connoisseur. Anyways, Spoons will draw into another swamp, which will provide him with the necessary juices to get most of his creatures out onto the battlefield. He's sitting on 4 lands, and if I'm not mistaken, Kurt, this is a healthy number for Soul Domination.
Absolutely, much of Soul Domination's core cards are 4 mana or less. With Spoon's current mana base, he has the potential to do some lethal damage to Garrus in the near future. He's going to tap down his plains and swamp and pull out his Walking Corpse. With no other moves to make, Spoons will pass his turn back to Garrus, who will draw the enchantment, Tricks of the Trade.
Jeez, Garrus' hand is looking like Alexander Hamilton. I mean, look at all that lifelink. He's got a Johnny's Sunstriker, an Arctic Aven, and he can potentially make one of these cards unblockable with Tricks of the Trade.
Garrus will play a plains and tap both of his lands to pull out a Johnny's Sunstriker, a 2/2 cat creature with the keyword ability Lifelink, and that'll complete Garrus' turn.
Oh, you know what time it is. Vampire Nighthawk time, baby.
That's right, Shane, but don't expect him to stick around for too long.
We'll see about that, Kurt. Now, Spoons has played a swamp, which will give him just enough mana to play his Nighthawk. This is a tough card for most intro decks to deal with. It has a low mana cost, boasts 3 toughness, and has 3 keyword abilities, Flying, Death Touch, and Lifelink. He's gonna tap down all his lands and play his Vampire Nighthawk like I predicted.
Yeah, it's pretty much the only move he could have made. Spoons will go on the offensive with his Walking Corpse, looking to squeeze in 2 damage on Garrus, who does have the alternative of blocking with his Sunstriker. Garrus has decided not to block Spoons' corpse and will opt to take the 2 damage instead. This will lower Garrus' life total to 18.
Don't worry all you blue and white fans out there. Garrus will have plenty of extra help to spare with all the possible lifelink at his disposal. The key to his success is going to rely on how well he can manipulate his creatures on the battlefield, so he can maximize his life gains and minimize the damage taken from Spoons' creatures. Garrus has played an island and will be queuing up his Oblivion Ring. This is unfortunate because I wanted to see some Nighthawk action.
It's so very unfortunate, Shane, but it's a necessary step Garrus has to take to make sure his Sunstriker hits its mark. Garrus will tap down all of his land and play his Oblivion Ring, exiling Spoons' Nighthawk. Garrus will go on the offensive with his Sunstriker, looking to repay Spoons with 2 damage of his own. And since Spoons doesn't have any creatures able to block, he'll be forced to take 2 damage, lowering Spoons' life total to 18. But we can't forget the Sunstriker's keyword ability, Lifelink, which means that Garrus will gain 2 life from the damage he dealt to Spoons. This will bring Garrus' health back up to 20.
That Sunstriker's gonna be a problem, Kurt. Spoons will need to figure out a way to either destroy or deter that Sunstriker from attacking.
Well, Garrus' Sunstriker might be more of a short-term nuisance. Remember, Shane, Sunstriker is a 2/2 creature, which means it has very low toughness. While it can be effective early game, you're going to start to see its usefulness decline toward the mid-game. Now, Spoons has drawn yet another swamp, probably not exactly what he was looking for, but he can make it work. He likely would have rather drawn a creature with low mana cost like Knight of Glory or Duty-Bound Dead. Both these cards have the keyword ability Exalted, and the more creatures out on the battlefield with Exalted, the stronger Spoons' army will be.
Spoons has attacked yet again with his Walking Corpse, dealing another 2 damage to Garrus, bringing his life total to 18. He's also going to tap down all his lands and play his 2/2 Bloodhunter Bat, which packs a 1/2 punch. When this creature enters the battlefield, the caster gains 2 life and a target player loses 2 life. This means that Spoons will bump up to 20 and Garrus will drop down to 16. And he's gotta be feeling good about that, Kurt.
I agree, but if I know Garrus, he isn't sweating just yet, because in retrospect, 4 damage really isn't that much when you're able to heal yourself for 2 every turn. Now Garrus has drawn another Arctic Aven, which can provide some decent air support, but he probably would have wanted to see another land. Garrus has tapped down all of his lands and will play his Attended Knight, a 2/2 human knight creature with the keyword ability First Strike, and when the creature enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 white soldier into play. Garrus will once again go on the offensive with his Sunstriker, and Spoons appears to have no qualms about taking the 2 damage from it. This means that Spoon will drop to 18 and Garrus will gain 2 and go up to 18. And I can't help but feel that Garrus took a huge risk attacking with his Sunstriker. Spoons did have the option of blocking with his Bloodhunter, which would have gimped Garrus' damage mitigation.
Well, I'm pretty sure that Spoons is looking to equip his enchantment Mark of the Vampire onto his Bloodhunter. You see, Kurt, you just gotta weigh your pros and cons.
Yeah, that's true. It wouldn't have been a horrible loss because ridding the battlefield of the Bloodhunter would have given Garrus' Arctic Avens control of the skies.
Bingo. Keep me around, I'll teach you a few things. So it looks like Spoons has drawn Servant of Nephrox and tapped down 4 lands to place his enchantment Mark of the Vampire onto his Bloodhunter Bat. Spoons isn't afraid to show the might of his new Vampire Bloodhunter Bat as he attacks for 4 damage. Garrus doesn't have anything that can block creatures with flying, so he's forced to take the damage, lowering his life total to 14, while Spoons will increase his life total to 22.
This is a very interesting game. I don't think we've ever seen 2 decks so evenly matched.
No, we definitely haven't. We're about 5 minutes and 20 seconds into the game, and usually this is when it starts to wind down, but this game's just getting started. Garrus has drawn an island, which means he'll now be able to play his Tricks of the Trade this turn, that he has the option to also play Healer of the Pride, but he's going to tap down all of his lands and play Tricks of the Trade as prophesized. He's going to place his Tricks on the Sunstriker, making this creature a 4/2 unblockable. The attack in combination coming at Spoons is going to be awkward to defend against. He has 6 damage coming his way. It appears Spoons has decided against any defensive maneuvers. He'll be taking the full 6 damage, lowering his life total to 16, while Garrus will gain 4 life from his Sunstriker, increasing his life total to 18.
And in any normal intro deck game, a player would be reeling from a 6 damage blow, but there's so much lifelink that these 2 players are exchanging blows like a match between Rocky and Apollo.
Adrian!
Now Spoons has drawn and played a land. He's going to tap down 3 lands to get his Servant of Nephrox onto the battlefield. This creature is a 3/1 human cleric with the keyword ability Exalted. This ability is the bread and butter of Soul Domination. Whenever a creature attacks alone, that creature gains +1/+1 until end of turn. Since Garrus still doesn't have any air support, he's going to be forced to take 5 damage, lowering his life total to 13, while Spoons will raise his life total to 21.
It's not looking good for old Garrus.
Well, he's not down and out yet, Shane, but Exalted is a formidable ability, and what's great about it is that it stacks with other creatures' Exalted ability. But there are several weaknesses that Exalted brings with it, and it's possible for an opponent to expose those weaknesses. And it looks like Garrus has drawn the exact card for the job. He's tapped down all of his lands to play his Corley Provocateur. This is a 1/1 human wizard creature with 2 activated abilities. The first ability forces a target creature to attack this turn if able, and the second ability forces a target creature to block. This is a pivotal card for Garrus. Soul Domination truly shines when only 1 juiced up creature attacks. Garrus can get Spoons to attack with multiple creatures. This will greatly hinder his opponent's efficiency. Garrus went on the offensive with his Sunstriker Knight, hitting Spoons for 6 damage. This will bring Spoons' life total to 15, and Garrus will gain 4 life, going up to 17.
Well, Kurt, so much for Garrus' precious Provocateur. Because Spoons has drawn Murder, this instant will make sure that the Provocateur doesn't sway any unwanted creatures from attacking. Spoons will go on the offensive with his Bloodhunter, striking Garrus for an unhindered 5 damage. This will bring his life total to 12, and Spoons will gain 5 life, raising his total to 20.
It's unfortunate for Garrus that Spoons has drawn Murder. The Provocateur could have provided some much needed utility, but this was surely inevitable. This game has gone on way too long without Spoons drawing at least 1 Murder or 1 Cower and Fear, which are both effective enough to destroy the Provocateur. Anyways, Garrus has drawn another Healer of the Pride, and he's really got to make a decision here. Does he want more life gain, or does he want to start pushing out his flyers? Well, it looks like he's going to tap down all of his lands and play his Healer of the Pride, which is a solid move. However, it might have been more beneficial to play Arctic Aven.
Ooh! Spoons used Murder to destroy the Sunstriker.
Yeah, he's going to try to finish Garrus by cutting off his lifelink. This is a solid strategy because the Bloodhunter is still unopposed in the air, and it's going to take Garrus a few turns to build up a respectable Sky army.
Yeah, but that Exalted though.
Well, it's true that the ability Exalted will be gimped by the Provocateur, but again, Spoons is relying on the fact that he has air superiority. He really wants to beat Garrus in the next 3 to 4 turns.
So Garrus will end his turn, and Spoons will draw the Knight of Infamy. And before Spoons can begin his main phase, Garrus will use the Provocateur's activated ability to force the Servant to attack this turn. This is going to make attacking with the Bloodhunter a little awkward on Spoons' attack phase. He will attack with both his Bloodhunter and Servant, looking to inflict 7 damage. However, Garrus has decided to block the Servant with his Attended Knight, which has First Strike. Garrus will take 4 damage from the Bloodhunter, lowering his life total to 8, while Spoons will gain 4, raising his health to 24. Big money, big prizes, baby.
I love it. And we can see that this prize is practically wrapped up nice and neat for Spoons. Now, Garrus is going to have to figure out a way to stop that Blood Hunter. It's been a thorn in his side for way too long.
I'd say it's time to start getting those Arctic Avens into play.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can't deal with that Blood Hunter, then this game is over. Garrus has drawn the Instant Safe Passage, which is a card that could buy him some time, but does he have enough mana to play a spell like this?
Yes.
Well, I don't think so.
No.
Remember, he still has to get those Arctic Avens in play, and with only 4 mana at his disposal, he doesn't have time to spend it on instants like Safe Passage. Garrus needs to start establishing a strong defense, and it looks like that's what he intends to do as he's tapped down 3 lands to play his first Arctic Aven, which will trigger Garrus' Healer of the Pride's passive ability, giving him 2 life, raising his total to 10.
Now Spoons has drawn and played Duty Bound Dead, a 0/2 Skelly creature with Exalted and an activated regeneration ability. Now Garrus has forced the Knight of Infamy to attack with his Provocateur. This means that Spoons will be going on the O with his Knight and Blood Hunter. Garrus will block the Knight with his Aven, but before combat, Garrus will tap 1 plane and activate his Aven's lifelink ability. Both the Knight and the Aven will die, and that Garrus will gain 3 health from the Aven's lifelink ability, but take 4 damage from the Blood Hunter, bringing his life total to 9.
I'm interested to see what Garrus' strategy is here. I was under the impression that he would be doubling up his Aven so he could have enough attack power to take down that Blood Hunter.
Yeah, I thought that too, but he used that first Aven as mere cannon fodder. What's his strat here, Kurt?
Well, he's definitely playing this like a true blue-white deck, biding his time and waiting for the right moment to strike. Garrus currently has the most creatures on the battlefield, but they aren't attackers, and they really aren't defenders, well, aside from his attended Knight. He's going to play a second Arctic Aven, gain 2 life from his Healer of the Pride, going up to 11 health, and pass his turn back over to Spoons, who has lost a lot of momentum. To be honest, Shane, I don't think that Blood Hunter is enough to take Garrus out. I believe that Spoons was under the impression that he could force that Blood Hunter down Garrus' throat, and that would be enough to finish him off. However, we can see that Garrus keeps using the Provocateur's activated ability, which is forcing Spoons to attack with multiple creatures, diminishing the benefits of Exalted. The Provocateur is going to force the corpse to attack, and Spoons will go in with his Blood Hunter and Walking Corpse looking to squeeze in 6 damage. Garrus will snipe the corpse with his Knight, and since the Knight has first strike, that means the corpse will be hitting Spoons' graveyard. Garrus likewise will be taking 4 damage from the Blood Hunter, going down to 7, and Spoons will gain 4 life, going up to 32.
I don't know, Kurt. It seems to me that the Blood Hunter is doing a good job whittling Garrus' life total down. I mean, it's 32 to 7. It's going to be hard to come back from that. I think he can only delay the inevitable for so long. Garrus has drawn and played a Plains. He's also tapped down all his lands to play a second Healer of the Pride. This will definitely give him some cushion for the pushin'. I'm not sure if Garrus gained life from that first Healer's ability.
He didn't.
Well, in any case, he's finally going on the offensive with his Aven, Knight, and Healer, looking to squeeze in a fat 7 damage. However, Spoons is blocked with his Skelly, and tap down a Swamp to activate his Skelly's regeneration ability. Likewise, Garrus will tap down a Plains and trigger his Aven's lifelink ability. This means Spoons will take 5 damage, dropping down to 27, and Garrus will bump up to 10.
It appears that Garrus is informing Spoons that he should be at 12 because of his Healer's passive ability, and like a gentleman, Spoons will allow this to happen.
I wouldn't. I play for keeps, and for sheeps.
Spoons has to be feeling a little discouraged with his last few draws. He's drawn another land, and Garrus is going to be forcing Spoons' Duty Bound to attack, nullifying Exalted yet again. I can't stress enough how important that Provocateur has been in this game for Garrus. Without it, I'm sure this game would have been over 1 or 2 turns ago. It's been an invaluable asset in Garrus' arsenal.
Yeah, but it's so easily destroyed.
Very true. Like I said before, Spoons can draw a Cower in Fear or Murder. His deck has several of these cards, so it wouldn't be too far-fetched. He could also draw a Zathrid Gorgon and use her activated ability to disable the Provocateur.
That probably won't happen because Garrus has the power of love on his side. Garrus played another Sunstriker, which means he'll gain 4 health from his Healer's passive ability, going up to 12 life. Since Spoons doesn't have any active defenders and no cards in hand, this is the perfect opportunity to punish Spoons. Garrus is going to go balls deep with most of his army looking to bombard Spoons with 9 damage. He's also going to tap a Plains and activate his Aven's lifelink ability, giving him some of that sweet chocolat. And since Spoons has nothing to defend with, he's forced to take it, going down to 21, while Garrus bumps up to 15. What a comeback.
What a comeback indeed. Spoon has drawn Lily Elena's Shade, not the best card for this situation, but it'll tap down 4 lands to get that Shade into play. It's 1/1 Shade creature with a passive ability that allows the caster to find a swamp and put it into their hand. It also has an activated ability, tap down a swamp to pump the Shade for +1/+1. With 6 potential swamps on the battlefield, this guy can get outlandish fast. Garrus will decline to cut Spoons' deck, which means
His trust will ultimately doom him.
I gotta give it to both these players. They've been playing very sportsmanlike, but we're going to see some hostility as Spoons goes on the offensive with his Blood Hunter and Duty Bound. The Blood Hunter will once again hit its mark, dealing 4 damage, dropping Garrus to 11 and bumping Spoons up to 25.
Garrus has been holding on to those instants, Downpour and Safe Passage forever. He's like an African jumping spider waiting to pounce. Pounce right into another land draw. Probably not what he was looking for, but he's placed it onto the battlefield for safekeeping. Once again, Garrus is going to flex nuts with his powerful army and go straight in with most of his creatures looking to deal 12 damage. He's going to tap down a Plains and activate his Aven's lifelink ability.
Spoons is going to be defensive this round and pump a Shade for +3/+3, making a Shade of 4/4, which will overpower Garrus' 2/2 Knight. Spoons will take 10 damage from the rest of Garrus' creature, lowering his life to 15, and Garrus will gain 5 life from both the Sunstriker and Aven's lifelink abilities, increasing his life to 16, taking the lead for the first time in a long time.
Garrus has been biding his time and waiting for the ideal moment to strike. He's pummeling Spoons with gigantic 10-point hits, and now it's Spoons who's on the back foot. Ruh-roh, what is this? Holographic Nephrox Overlord of Grixis? Man, Kurt, I bet Garrus wishes that he he's shuffled Spoons' deck now.
Yeah, Nephrox is an absolute aerial monster. He's going to waste no time getting this card onto the battlefield.
Spoons has attacked with his Blood Hunter, Duty Bound, and Shade. He's also going to tap down 3 swamps and pump his Shade with some 3/3 goodness, making his creatures a 4/4. Garrus has taken the full girth of the attack, lowering his life total to 8, and Spoons will bump up to 19. So much for that epic comeback.
Don't speak too soon, Shane. Remember, Garrus has been saving his 2 instant spells, Safe Passage and Downpour, for a rainy day. No pun intended.
Ugh, horrible.
Hey, these spells can win him the game, or at the very least buy him some time. Garrus has played a Plains and will go on the offense with everything except the Provocateur. He's going to tap down a Plains to activate his Aven's lifelink ability. Spoons will block the Aven with his Nephrox, absorbing 3 damage. However, his life total will be taking the remainder of the 7 damage, lowering his life total to 12. Garrus's Aven will move to his graveyard, but he'll be gaining 5 life from the Aven and Sunstriker's lifelink ability, bumping up to 13.
And Garrus is back in the lead, but I'm not sure how long he can maintain this position with that Nephrox active on the battlefield. He's going to force that Duty Bound Dead to attack, but he's going to have a truckload of damage hitting him this turn. He's got to use that trump card, Safe Passage, or else it's Coitons.
Absolutely. Spoons has so many swamps to pump that Shade, it's really Garrus' only valid option. Spoons will attack with a truly terrifying army. He's going to tap down 6 lands and increase his Shade's power and toughness to a titanic 7/7. There's 16 damage staring Garrus in the face, enough to kill him and have enough damage left over to destroy a slightly weaker version of himself. But as predicted, Garrus is going to play Safe Passage, an instant that will prevent all damage taken by him and his creatures. He's going to negate all of Spoons' damage and be in an extremely strong position to punish Spoons next turn.
Another brilliant twist from Garrus, the master of games. With nothing left to do, Spoons is going to pass his turn over to Garrus, who has to be sitting on cloud 9. He's essentially got a smorgasbord sitting right in front of him. The only problem is he still doesn't have enough damage to finish Spoons off next turn. Garrus is a slippery little minx, I'll give him that. He's going to draw and play Crusader of Ordic, a 5/5 human soldier creature whose power and toughness are proportional to the number of creatures you control. Spoons is going to block the Sunstriker with his Aven Squire. Since the Aven is a puny bird creature and the Sunstriker is a strong and nimble cat, he'll be sending the Aven to Spoons' graveyard. Spoons will take 5 damage from the remaining army, going down to 7. And Garrus will gain 2 life from the Sunstriker, and I guess another 4 life from the healer's passive ability, bringing his life total to 19.
Sportsmanship is in the air, Shane, and I love it. But what is this? We're finally seeing Garrus' instant Downpour come into play. This instant allows the caster to tap up to 3 target creatures. The 3 creatures he'll be choosing are Nephrox, Blood Hunter, and the Shade. He's also going to activate his Provocateur's ability and force that Duty Bound to attack this turn. This leaves Spoons with 0 defenders and 0 answers to Garrus' blue-white army. That's going to be GG, children. Spoons has no way to prevent the damage that's coming at him next turn.
Man, that game was straight out of my wet dreams.
Spoons definitely had the upper hand at the beginning of the game, but completely lost momentum towards the end. It's not like he played a bad game, what he played was an unlucky game. But if I could give him one critique, it'd be his pacifism towards Garrus' Provocateur. He had the opportunity to eliminate this creature with the instant murder, but he instead opted to take out Garrus' enchanted Sunstriker. He settled for the fast victory instead of the smart victory, which cost him the game in the end. Any ending remarks, Shane?
Yeah, there's a 1-turn difference this game. If Garrus didn't have his precious instant, Safe Passage, and Downpour, the V would have gone to Spoons for realsies.
Well, children, that'll do it for this exciting adventure into the wonderful world of Magic the Gathering. If you like what you've seen here, please subscribe to us and like this video. Please help us gain some exposure and share us with someone you love.
Or someone you hate.
Yeah, I guess it's all the same to us. Well guys, we are aware that our channel has been somewhat dormant for the past few months, and we apologize. We're still working on projects for you, so stay tuned, there's more stuff coming down the pipe.
Check out our live stream on Twitch TV. I'll link our Twitch channel in the description. We have some highlights that you can sample. It'll give you a little taste that'll have you coming back for more.
There's not a lot of Magic the Gathering content on our Twitch channel. It's mostly Call of Duty and retro games like Mario Kart 64 and Super Smash Bros. 64, but we're always excited when someone pops into our channel.
Yeah, we like talking to you guys, and we like it even more when you guys make fun of Trav. Give him a hard time about his hair.
That being said, if you guys enjoy watching and playing Magic the Gathering, check out Friday Night Magic at your local comic book store. And if you're playing with an intro deck, come prepped and lubed. This is Curtis and Shane, signing out until next time.
Skip to the shop, the sweet candy shop.